It's the Date Master, and yes, we're back again. I know I've been in and out with you guys, but we're gonna keep this content coming. You know it. Hope you guys are having a great morning. This has become therapeutic. A lot of guys want to YouTube their way to stardom. I get that, um, but I think it's a bigger picture than the money. You want to put the value because what I learned as you grow, your skills get better, and anything that you do, the money is going to come. The law of attraction is very real. I'm going to talk about that too. There's a lot of things I want to hit on to kind of change up the tone because the women, this, that, and the third, and after a while, it's an echo chamber of failure because all women are not bad, all men are not good. So we have to make sure we keep an equal balance to understand the plight of the bigger picture. But anyway, am I the only one that noticed we have entered the twilight zone? And again, this is speaking from a logic perspective. I know you guys want to be emotional. The ladies want to get riled up. They're looking to be hurt. And this is something I call it trauma chasing. That's why I said when you make a post about toxicity, toxic relationships, all of these negative things, it brings out women like moths to a flame. Why do you think this is? It is because her peace and her excitement is ruled by her emotions. It is fueled by her emotional state. So security, stability does not do anything for one's emotion until it is needed. You take a woman who's been able to provide for herself, she has adopted the independent mindset. That's why after too long of being single, you hear these women say, well, I've been single. And you ask them, well, do you mean official? Do you, ladies, the cat is out of the bag. We know you have guys who you fuck in secrecy. We know that you go on these sex tourism trips to Jamaica, the Dominican, and other places where a lot of melanated black men are. We know this. See, this is the thing with women. They think, I've told you this before, they really think that they are smarter than us. You look at the grids, the roadways, the housing complexes, the apartment complexes, anything dealing with living, convenience, and luxury was created by a man. All type of complex setups for the internet, your cell phone, your cars, your housing. You have smart houses to where a house damn near acts like a phone. Men created these things, ladies. Men did. And you walk around and so with so much ignorant arrogance, you would try to connect yourself to the man to make it appear as if you had something to do with his creation when you really did not. Because the Most High told you to be a helpmeet, not a partner, but a helpmate. Because he's already instilled the vision in the men that he's chosen to instill whatever that is in them. But nowadays, it appears that the more logic you speak, the more practical and resolution based your conversation is, the harder it is for women to comprehend. I've seen women fight tooth and nail about why it's okay to have bastard children, why it is okay to have children out of wedlock. Like I hear these women, I always say, listen to what they don't say versus what they say. They say, I want another child. You don't hear these women saying, I want a family. I want a man that I can be a helpmeet to. I want to be married to a great man who has overcame adversity, who has built himself upwards with all of the gravity coming down. He still made it to the top. You don't hear women saying this these days. They say they want a child because a child to her is an extension of her own arrogance, her own self-absorption, because she's going to look at the child as her own, as her creation. You listen to these women speak, they think that they create children alone. But it's me who walks around with my seed from birth. I just cannot access it until the age of 12, 13. But for the most part, I walk around with my seed forever. You walk around with your eggs temporarily. You have a finite amount of eggs to reproduce. But the more logic that you speak, the more it's met with vitriol and resistance, because women, why do you think, and I wouldn't even say why do you think, because most people don't know this, but why do you think 70 to 75, 80% of all advertising is geared and marketed and targeted to women? Why do you think the church, one of the biggest hustles, the pro-black movement, one of the second biggest hustles, was always catered to black women, or always trying to tickle black women's heartstrings? Why do you think that is? Why do you think there is no men in the church other than the ones who are getting dragged to go to church by their wives, whom they are slaves to, and the pastors and the board who are making all of the money? You have women talking about, I own my own cars, houses, etc. Well, what would, if we were to get together, what would we experience together? What would be our first? You have a child by a man you hate. You have a house that you can barely afford, in which you really hate that as well. You have a car that's always tugging at your purse. You have all of these things on your own, or that you done first. What would we do together as a first? This is why they have studies that show men who marry their wives whom they've been their first, or their virgin wives, they have a much longer marriage. This is statistical facts. The marriages to where the woman was the virgin, they last longer. And this is why you always hear women shy away from the body count, and they try to discredit the messengers. That's another thing I'm gonna talk about is discrediting the messenger to discredit his message. We hear this a lot. We see this a lot in this space. That's why I tell you, women are the patrol dogs, or the guard dogs of social media, because they have to monitor all messages that are being conveyed, especially by men. That's why you put the word men in preface in a statement. Watch how the women come out of the bushes, women who you've never interacted with, never, women whom you've never had any real conversation with, but they will make themselves notice. They'll pop out to challenge or discredit your message or information. You have these women telling you daily that a two-parent household is not necessary to raise a child. See, the thing with this delusional mindset that a lot of women today have, they root their lives in possibilities instead of probabilities. They think they're all special. So they think the lottery phenomenon is going to apply to them in their lives. And you see these women. See, the other part that they don't show you is that these women in their late 30s and 40s breaking down on these platforms, crying with regret, sad and miserable with the choices that they made, because everything comes full circle. Everything will come full circle. That's why, as a man, you should not be caught up in anything that doesn't have anything to do with your goals. You can kick it with your people here and there. Okay, cool. We'll kick it. Let's get out. Okay, back to the mission, because it doesn't stop. You have men wearing dresses, talking all effeminate, go along to get along, echoing delusional women's comments and rhetorics. Like I say, I have this one particular chick who always trolls me, but she does it in a friendly way, so it does not come off as abrasive as she intends for it to come off, because a lot of the times we're in public places. But I pick up on the game. And again, this is how you know she doesn't really listen to the information, because I really don't talk to women to give them advice about dating anyway. I talk to men. I talk to men to get them to understand why their dating experiences go the way they go, and how to have the best dating experiences without the collateral damage, toxic traumas, children, etc. I've made it 38 years. None of these situations, none of the shack up, none of the move in. We don't do that. No abortions, no baby mama scare. We don't do that. See, what I did a video and I did not get into the intricate details about pair bonding. The more you see a woman not able to leave a man alone, you have to understand the dynamic between them sexually. There's a sexual connection, which again, this will more likely happen when you are laying with a woman unprotected. Because when you wear a rubber, she cannot properly bond to you. Now, this is neither good or bad. This is just reality. Now, if you feel that this woman is of the value that you would like to spend, the rest of your life with or whatever, an extended period of time, then you would do everything you can to strengthen that connection. Some people do. Some people just don't believe in protecting themselves. They don't believe in condoms. They say they hate them, etc. Well, there's always trade-offs. See, we think we can have it all. This is why we're in the twilight zone. We think we can have everything that we want at one time. Let's just play that out. If I was to get everything that I wanted at one time, how would my life look? How would I choose? How would my choices be to say how I'm going to start my day? If I want to live in Dubai, I want to do boxing, I want to have 20 Lamborghinis. How would my day go to have all of these spoils at one time? Along with the woman of my dreams who's a 10, who's into women and all of this, how would my life look? It would be full of distractions. It would not be productive because I have too many spoils to entertain me. This is why a lot of the times you see these rich people are miserable, because money does not buy happiness. It is a good down payment, but it does not buy you happiness. It does not secure you happiness. You have women who think they're men, and you have men who are acting and thinking as they're women, as if they're women. And you're going to constantly see the conflict that this unorthodox connection brings about. You have men saying, well, I'm going to take my foot off the gas because my woman, she's going to pick up the slack. Women have money to spend, but in reality, depending on how the relationship is set up, she technically does not want to spend it. She spends it based upon her mood. If you're giving her a certain feeling of euphoria, orgasms, etc., she's more prone to spend money on you because she feels that she's getting something, so she should pay for it. We are in a transactional era. Everything is transaction. You will not have the baddies coming to you just to kick it, to see how you are as a person, to see what type of personality you hold as a person. Those days are long gone because you have social media. It's just like picking up a candidate for a resume, for a job. I can see everything on your LinkedIn. I'm scrolling your social media to see what your personality is, to see what you talk about. There's no real connection anymore. To get a organic connection, it has to be intentional, meaning when we get together, the cell phones get left in a certain room, or they get left in the car or in the purse, whatever. They do not come out on your dates. They do not come out when you link up. True connection has to be intentional. But because we're in the twilight zone, everything is microwave and quick paced. These connections are weak. That's why relationships interchange in the manner and the frequency that they do. You will say, well, how did they break up? I thought they were good. I thought they were going to last. And then you see them and they're with different people. Or you see them, they're by themselves, or they're no longer together. And you have to ask why, because on social media, everything looked peachy. Everything looks all peachy on social media. That's why you do not go by what you see on social media, because it is a facade. It is not real. It is a made up version of whatever that person is grooming themselves to be or trying to be. Because a lot of people, they want to be something, but they don't want to go through the process of becoming. They don't want to get in the mud. They don't want to jump out the window. They don't want to run through the burning house. And I'm using these as examples of some of the adversities a lot of people will have to face, men specifically, to get to the top. That's why it's very lonely there. If you say, man, I'm going to the top, man, I'm gonna chill. You got to do too much, man. I got an intermittent fast. I can't eat to 3 o'clock. I gotta work out twice a day. I gotta stack my bread. I gotta have an excess amount. I gotta have enough for 3 or 4 people for this woman to see me attractive. People will just stay at the bottom and deal with the low hanging fruit. That's why all of these new body types are now a commodity. They're a thing now. BBWs, to which is an ambiguous archetype of women. There is a such thing as a BBW, but most that try to identify it, they do not fit the criteria. But the man will loop them in the criteria to give them a sense of being, so they can feel that this is the reason why he likes me. He likes BBWs. And I am that. Baby, no, you're not. You're just fat with a somewhat round ass. Somewhat. Not totally round, but somewhat. And these are the men who have defeated themselves. They will trick themselves into making themselves think they like something, in which you catch them 10 years early, 15 years ago, they wouldn't have looked that woman that they're laying with every night's way. They wouldn't have looked their way 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But this is the new era that we're in, when this Twilight Zone, where we trick ourselves into accepting low-level, mediocre treatment from our women, from our peers, and from the world. You don't want to take the world into your own hands. That's why you have constant chaos. The men do not understand what order is. That's why they don't know how to sustain it and maintain it. The women run the show, because if the women can't run the show, the man doesn't get the box. And we got to have that box. We'll spend anything to get our dick wet. I seen a woman on my timeline talking about, and I said this before, these expenditures, they're catching up. You're gonna see a lot more women posting that Cash App on their timeline as a joke, but in reality, it's dead serious. And you're gonna hear them bragging about the type of money that they get from these simps who try to gain access to them. It's going to get real. And I say this in all of my videos, and I'm going to make sure that I hit it home. You make sure you stay as far away as you can from a fool. Because the beautiful fools have this allure. They know how to suck you in and take you down with them. Oh, no. We know beauty fades and money comes and goes. But you guys let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Dave Master.